I just suddenly thought of adding something to my video. Recently, Grozer's video about testing his glass, and he makes his glass seems to be superior to everything else in the world. To me that's totally fine. But what I'm trying to bring to the public is my own view as a reseller. I'm not a bow builder, right? So I don't build the bows. I collaborate with my bowyers, and since I have to collaborate, I have to decide what I want in my bows. I have to actually study the materials, sometimes make some prototype, test them, sometimes I fuck up. And so I learned throughout the years what the glass or even carbon, how the materials affect me, how they affect my decision when I configure my bows. And so because of what I've learned throughout the years, I find that the video that Grozer made does not tell the full story. That's what I want to point out. It doesn't tell you the full story. Because there's a lot of things that you can rig, okay? You can literally rig a test to make your product seem better. As a salesperson, I know, because I can do the same if I want. I can rig things, but that's not how I work. I prefer to let my customer understand what they are buying instead of just kind of, I don't know how to put it, but kind of like lead them in a wrong way and buy because of they think something is one way but it's actually not. Okay, I'd rather not do this kind of thing. I want my customer to know the truth, because if I lie to someone about something when they buy, I have to cover up that lie with more lies later on, and I don't remember lies. So if I tell a lie, it's very troublesome down the road. So I'd rather just speak the truth, and then whenever you ask me, I always give you the same truth. That's why I prefer that way. I don't have to remember details. You ask me, every time I tell you the exact same thing. Okay, so some of the things that throughout the years, I'm going to share some of my experience. Okay, if you don't believe, you don't want to agree, you see the facts and you decided that no, I'm not going to believe it, even though it's true, I'm not going to believe it. Fine, I have no issue. I mean, if I tell you, oh, be careful, there's a hole over there, don't go there, and you say, I know there's a hole, but I'm going to still go over there and I'm going to drop there and die, I'm fine with that. I got no issue with that. Go ahead. Okay, I'm just telling you, oh, I've been through that. This is what I saw. It's dangerous down there. I'm just going to share to you out of my own concern, because I have learned a lot of these things the hard way. Okay, so several years ago, there is I'm not going to mention about products, alright? So don't worry about that. I'm not going to mention about products. I'm just specifically talking about certain experiences that made me think about, look beyond what is obvious. That's what I want to show. Okay, so let's talk about glass. Maybe I shouldn't be holding this bowl. Let me just take another bowl. Okay, glass. Okay, so years ago there was another manufacturer that I know. He was using Finland-made glass. Okay, I'm not saying that Finland glass are bad. Okay, I'm just saying, because I don't even know which company it is from. I only know there's one particular glass maker from Finland. I don't know who they are, but that bowyer was using that particular glass. Now, performance-wise, it's actually decent. It's a pretty good material. And the bowyer also said, oh, his material is the best, and so on, so on. I mean, every bowyer say his stuff is the best. So the bowyer was telling, oh, his glass is the best, and so on and so forth. It's better than Bear Paw. Fine, I go ahead. I mean, if you're so confident with the product, fine, I just buy. And what happened was, after some time of use, splinter. Now, this is not the bowl that's involved. I'm just mentioning. I'm just holding something to kind of just illustrate for you. splinters start appearing on the limb randomly. We have no idea where. Sometimes it could be here, sometimes it could be here, sometimes it will be up here. I have no idea. But very randomly, it just, the splinters, glass splitting, appear on the bowl. Why is that happening? And that's actually very concerning for me, because the thing is, yes, the glass is durable. As in, even though there is splinter in the glass, it doesn't explode. It didn't break. Great, doesn't break. But the customer will tell me, Ronald, what is this? There is a splinter, bad quality, I want warranty. Even though everything else is good, just one tiny splinter, they want warranty. So that I was investigating what's going on. So the problem is that the tension in the glass of that particular glass maker is not all equal. Some of the glass are more tense than others. All the strands in the glass sheet are not equally tense. Okay, so as a result, when you draw some of them, some of the fibers are more tense than the other, and so some of them may be overloaded. Maybe one strand, maybe two strands, a small, just very tiny. Then after, once that one snap, it starts to lift up, and it becomes ugly, and people start complaining. So it's an annoying thing. Yes, the glass didn't break, the bowl did not break, but the splinter issue is so annoying. So even though the bowyer was telling me, his glass is the best, Finland glass, great and whatever, better than Beppo, but it gives me so much headache. Okay, so that's why sometimes when I say good, really, you have to look at it with a pinch of salt. Don't take it too seriously. Every bowyer say their stuff is the best. Now, second example, China glass. Okay, China glass. Since I have so many manufacturers, one of them, I do not know which company made that glass. Okay, but I know it's from China. Okay, China glass. When the bowyer tested, whoa, the glass seems to be stronger. There's more fibers in the sheet. Fibers is the individual strand. The glass sheet is, imagine a rectangle like that, and there's many strands inside. Okay, so when I say glass sheet, I'm talking about the entire plate here. When I say fibers, individual. So the China glass has more glass fiber, is stronger, it's more durable, it's tougher than the Beppo glass. And the bowyer was like, it's actually better. Oh, really? Okay, great. Let's do some tests. Unfortunately, when we try to pair with the carbon, it just keeps delaminating. When we pair with the Beppo, no issue. When we pair it with the China glass, just keeps delaminating. So what's the problem? The problem is the glass is not flexible enough. It's too strong. It's not flexible enough. So that's why it keeps pulling itself out of the carbon. Okay, so that is another issue. So even though it seems to be stronger, it seems to be the better material to use, but when we pair things together, it didn't work. What else? Also China glass. So supposedly China glass is actually the stronger one. It is actually like the modulus seems to be higher. It's a bit stronger than the Beppo glass. But similar with what happened with Finland, after some time of use, we start to get splintering because the fibers are not evenly tense. So even though I do not think Beppo have the best glass, definitely there are other makers who can make better glass. Gordon, for example, Gordon used to supply to a lot of archery limbs manufacturer, right, bowyers. But somehow they got phased out. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I'm not the bow builder. I didn't buy the supplies direct from them. But over time, people start to shift towards bare pore. And Gordon glass kind of just gets forgotten. Only a minority of people still use them. Okay, so what does this all say? It just says that just because the glass seems to appear stronger doesn't mean it's better. Okay, that's one of the lessons that I learned. Okay, now I'm going to talk about another thing, which is why I brought the carbon bowl. Alright, carbon. So technically, carbon is actually stronger in terms of its strength compared to e-glass, but the strain limit, the elongation at break, okay, we call it the strain limit of carbon is actually a lot less than e-glass. For example, in terms of ultimate strength, okay, ultimate strength of carbon, we are talking about maybe 30-40% more than e-glass. Okay, it depends on maker, alright. There's always variation. I'm just giving like a generically. Okay, carbon is maybe around 30-40% stronger than e-glass. Ultimate strength. Carbon is also stiffer, significantly stiffer than glass. So meaning, to bend the same degree, given the same dimension, carbon is, you need more effort to bend it. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is, carbon has a very low strain limit. That is to say, when you bend it, it doesn't take much to reach a point where it just snaps off. Whereas glass has a bigger strain limit, so you can go down more. Now to get, if you want to know the figure, carbon in terms of strain limit, somewhere around 1.6, 1.7, 1.8% depends on the maker. Glass, e-glass goes about 4.5 to 4.8%. S-glass can go to like maybe 5.2%. So it's a little bit, just a tiny bit higher than e-glass. So when you look at just the bending test alone, what you will find, supposingly, if you have everything else the same, that is to say you have S-glass, you have E-glass, you have carbon, all of them being spec to spec equal, you bend it, the first one to break is carbon, because at just 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, blam, snaps. And followed by E-glass, which is like 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, it's going to snap. And then S-glass is going to be the winner at 5.2, not very far after the E-glass. So after the E-glass break, the S-glass is going to break very soon. Okay, it's just a tiny little bit. Okay. But when it comes to the final product, carbon makes the bowl more durable and perform a tiny little bit faster. So the point of having carbon on your bowl, yes, it improves efficiency a tiny little bit, but it's very small. The gain you get is actually very small. If you ask like bowyers, skilled bowyers that have tested this one, they'll tell you, they'll agree that bowyer don't really significantly upgrade your speed. A little bit, yes, it improves the speed, but very tiny bit. Okay, just very small. The major gain, okay, the real gain is that it actually improves the durability of your bowl. So why is that? It's gonna be a long story. I'm not gonna delve into it because some of these things, to be honest with you, I do not want to share it because it is trade secret, right? So we do not want to share the discoveries that we find out how to improve the bowl's durability. We're gonna keep it secret. But just to let you know that despite the carbon being the first to break, it improves the bowl's overall durability. So when you make the bend test, does it say anything? Unfortunately, It doesn't, because if the material is truly good, because remember, I'm a reseller who collaborates with the bowyer. If I look at it, wow, this material is good, I will tell my bowyer, get this material, I want this on my bows. But when I see the test, this test is not conclusive. It doesn't tell me anything useful. It doesn't say if this product is going to make my bow more efficient or not. So as a result, I am not tempted to try it. It just doesn't say anything. Unless the test is done in a very fair way and it proves to you that, wow, under the same fair exact comparison, this new glass is performing better. Oh, I am interested. Okay, so that's why I'm actually looking at it from a very neutral perspective. But a lot of people that I've seen commenting, they are coming from a very negative way. They say, you are condemning this brand because whatever. Come on. You are loving the brand blindly. You didn't even look at all the details of technical things, and then you just love it. Huh? It's kind of like Apple products. Even if the quality sucks, you still love it blindly. Very same reason. If you are a smart consumer, you will look at the specs, the comparison, compare it fair and square. Oh, which one is the better product? Would you want to try it? Would you like to give it a test? You know, I'm coming from that view. If your product is good, I want it. But if you show me a video that is just trying to, what do you call this? Okay, basically Grocer is painting other manufacturer in a bad way. Your quality sucks, your glass sucks. But really? Because from the video that I watched, I said, whoa, because I know that the engineering behind it. So when I see, oh, the Bearpaw glass is good, the Gordon glass is good, because they all snap at the same time, meaning all the fibers are equally straight. That is good. I want this kind of glass. And he paints it as if this is a bad thing. See? So there's a lot of things that if you don't know the engineering behind it, it's easy to be confused, okay? That people will lead you to think that something is bad, but it's actually good. So it's very difficult to explain if you don't know the engineering behind it. So, you know, I'm going to conclude that certain things, if you want to understand, you have to really be involved. You have to be involved in it and learn the reason, how it affects the product. Then only you make a conclusion out of it. Because otherwise, if I tell you, you just say, impossible, that thing breaks so easily, it must be bad. But for someone who knows it, say, oh no, that's good. That's good. It means the fibers are very efficient. It means it is preloaded. It has pre-tension. It's good. So you see, it's different because you are coming from a different point of view. We are coming from an engineering point of view. We see the product as how it's supposed to be used. You see it from a marketing point of view. Oh, it doesn't awe you. So if you say, this one breaks so easily, so it must be bad. And oh, that one seems to last longer, it must be good. Come on, I do both engineering and marketing. I can make the product, rig it in a way that will make you happy to watch. No issue. For example, just make the fiber in kind of S shape that is loose. You will see that the product is unbreakable. One of the things that I really hate about some of these brand fans is that they don't question. It's like if they see their favorite brand post something and say it's good, oh, it's good, it's just automatically good. They don't question about it. So like for me, the way I've been brought up is that always question, always ask why. So like even if with my product, same thing. I actually want people to come to me and ask why is your product better? In what way is it better? Example, people ask me about, okay, so my ring, you claim that your ring is good, but why? So I made a video to explain why, how, and that's how I convinced the customer to buy it. So question it, right? So there's no wrong with questioning. Same thing with my other bows. So people ask me, so why is your bow good? Like, I have had this bow, I have problem, I have that bow, I have problem. So I want to try your bow, but why is your bow better? In what way is your bow better that it will solve this kind of issue that I had before? So I explain why. So people who ask question why, then that's actually being fair. Okay, so you're a smart consumer, you ask why, you get a reason, do you believe or not? So and of course you have to be smart about it. So sometimes if let's say if you ask me something and I give you a very stupid reason, you must be smart enough, all right? You must be smart enough to question back. Wait a minute, you say this is good, but you also say this is bad. You have to question it. Why? I have to explain it. Okay, I have to explain myself if I contradict myself. So I actually prefer customer who would question. Right? Don't take things blindly. Example, AF bows. Okay, recently I've been in love with AF bows. So people should ask, wait a minute, you used to not like AF bows, so what changed? Why do you like AF bows? How is AF bows better now? So you have to ask these kind of things and not just blindly, oh, this guy now advertise this bow and say it's good. I'm gonna just buy it. I'm gonna love it. No, don't be a stupid consumer. Okay, you have to be a smart consumer. You have to think as well. Okay, not just believing in me. Of course, I always try to be as truthful as I can, but I expect my customers to also be intelligent, to be smart, that they are not easily what do you call it? I don't know the term. Not easily swayed. They would question things if things don't sound right. Okay, so I actually really wish my customers to be like that, and I hope that you as a viewer are a smart consumer and actually would question things if it doesn't sound right to you, if it doesn't seem logical, if it doesn't match what your understanding of the world. Question it, right? Question it. And if you approach me and ask me questions, pretty much like 99.9% of the time, I'll reply you as best as I could. And if you think there's something wrong with the reply, you can always question the reply itself. I have no issue with that. I always try my best to give everything I know to you. Okay, so there's actually posts that I've seen from other people regarding the very same topic. And when I saw what they wrote, because I mean a lot of people saw the same post and they have their own feedback, and I just collect all this opinion. And they actually ask very good question, like, so how does this stronger fiberglass improve the bow? Because throughout all these years, they had never had a bow in which it failed because of its glass or carbon, right? So when using a bow, it never ever, in fact, same thing from my own experience, I have never had a bow that's being drawn and suddenly BAM! It snaps in half. No such thing. I had never had a bow in which the failure point is the glass or its carbon suddenly snapping off. Never ever. So meaning that the glass or carbon had never ever failed. Has never failed on me. So the next one that I could consider as a failure would be splinters. Okay, the worst I've ever had is just the material splintering. So which I had described and explained before, that some of these glass, despite claiming stronger, better, and so on, because of this tension, the strain in the individual fibers are not consistent throughout the entire sheet. Some of them are overstrained and they splintered. Okay, so like that's the only kind of failure I've seen so far. The even though the fiber itself splintered, looks ugly, customer complain, but they never actually snap or break. Okay, so glass or carbon had never actually failed on us. Me and all my customers and all the friends and all the posts that I read, glass and carbon was never the issue. And they question, since these are never the cause of failure, in fact, the major, okay, pretty much most of failure is caused by some sort of core delamination or glue failure, or a core crack. So there's something wrong with the core. Okay, when something happened to the core of the bowl, it cracks, it delaminates, something happened to the core. Then let's say somewhere along the limb it opened up, right? It opened up, delaminated, or crack, whatever it is. A crack will also lead to delamination. Okay, once you have a crack, air goes in and then it will follow the glue line and continue to delaminate. So in the end, they all lead to some sort of glue delamination. And the delamination is gonna cause the layers to separate, and the limb will lose its power. Okay, it will lose its strength, and at that moment, it suddenly flipped. Right, it suddenly because let's say the top limb is the one that delaminated. The bottom limb is fine. The bottom limb is gonna drag the top limb because of the string. Right, its string is connected. It will drag the top limb, and the top limb, because it has lost its strength, it will suddenly fold. That sharp fold can sometimes crack the glass or the carbon. Okay, so but the point is, the glass or the carbon is not the source of failure. The failure is the core and the glue. Okay, so if there's any problem, usually it's the core and the glue. So if something were to be invented to improve the bowl, we want to improve the core or the glue. Okay, because these are the ones that are causing issue, not the glass. So if you make the glass stronger, so what? In the end, you still have the same issue with the core. The core being the same is gonna crack, it's gonna delaminate, and even if your glass is stronger, it will still break. So people question, in what ways does this stronger glass improve the durability of the bowl? Because the source of failure is the core, and the core is unchanged. That's a very good question, and I actually took some of the content and put it in my article itself. Not sure if you read it, but anyway, these are some of the thoughts that I actually encourage people to question. Right? Example, like even myself, if I have something new, feel free to question me. Why? Why is this better than before? In what ways is it better than before? Is your test really making any sense? Is it relevant to the product itself? Because if my test is not directly relevant with the product, then it's pointless to test. You can question me. I have no issue if you question my products. Okay, so I also actually wish other bowyers and all that don't feel so easily offended when people question the accuracy, the relevance of your product. Because if people ask, that's because they are interested, right? If you feel offended that people ask, that means you want people to believe your product without questioning. And well, you know what that would be, right? That is a cult. So don't be a cult. Even for me, I do not want my customers to be a cult. Question it, okay? Feel free to question me. I'm okay with answering anything.